In the vast sweep of human history, few epochs resonate with the foundational echoes of ancient Mesopotamia. Here, between the life-giving rivers of the Tigris and Euphrates, humanity first coalesced into complex societies, erecting monumental cities and laying the groundwork for civilization itself. As these communities grew, so too did the intricate web of human interaction, necessitating a framework to govern disputes, define rights, and maintain order amidst the burgeoning populations. From this crucible of innovation emerged one of history's most enduring legal documents, the Code of Hammurabi. It stands as a profound testament to early attempts at formalizing justice, offering a window into the values, fears, and aspirations of a people living nearly 4 millennia ago. The very name Hammurabi evokes an image of ancient authority, a king who sought to bring structure to a world still grappling with the complexities of organized society. Hammurabi, the sixth king of the First Babylonian dynasty, reigned from approximately 1792 to 1750 BCE. His era marked a period of significant expansion and consolidation, transforming a collection of city-states into a formidable empire. Yet, his legacy transcends military conquest. It is deeply intertwined with his vision for a unified legal system, one that would apply across his vast dominion. The code itself is famously inscribed on a towering diorite stele, discovered in 1901 in what is now Iran. This iconic monument depicts Hammurabi standing reverently before Shamash, the Babylonian sun god of justice, receiving the laws directly from the divine. This imagery was no mere artistic flourish, it served to imbue the laws with a sacred authority, suggesting they were not merely the decrees of a mortal king, but divinely sanctioned principles for societal harmony. Before Hammurabi, various Mesopotamian city-states had their own legal traditions, with earlier codes like those of Uarnamu and Lipitishtar preceding his. However, Hammurabi's compilation was unprecedented in its scope and detail, aiming to be a comprehensive guide for nearly every aspect of daily life. It was designed to establish a consistent standard, replacing arbitrary judgments with a predictable system of consequences. The preamble to the code articulates its noble purpose, to promote the welfare of the people, to cause justice to prevail in the land, to destroy the wicked and the evil, that the strong might not oppress the weak. These lofty ideals speak to a universal human desire for fairness and protection, even in an age vastly different from our own. The code sought to establish a cosmic order on earth, mirroring the perceived order of the heavens. At the heart of Hammurabi's legal philosophy lay the principle of lex talionis, often translated as an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. This concept, though seemingly brutal by modern sensibilities, represented a significant step in the evolution of justice. It was an attempt to introduce proportionality into punishment, limiting vengeance and preventing endless cycles of retribution that could destabilize society. For instance, if a builder constructed a house that collapsed and killed the owner, the builder himself faced death. If the owner's son died, the builder's son would be executed. This direct, mirrored retribution sought to instill a profound sense of responsibility and accountability among professionals, ensuring that their work was undertaken with the utmost care. It was a stark reminder of the gravity of one's actions within the community. However, the application of lex talionis was not uniformly absolute or literal. Often, the principle translated into monetary compensation rather than physical injury, especially when the injured party belonged to a lower social class. This reveals a fundamental aspect of Babylonian society, a rigidly hierarchical structure that profoundly influenced the administration of justice. Mesopotamian society was broadly divided into three main classes: the Awilum, free citizens, landowners, officials; the Mushkanum, commoners, dependents, sometimes landless free people; and the Wardum, slaves. The code explicitly differentiated between these groups, meaning a crime committed against an Awilum carried a far heavier penalty than the same crime against a Mushkanum or Wardum. Justice, therefore, was not blind. For example, if an Awilum struck another Awilum and broke his bone, the assailant would suffer the same injury. But if an Awilum broke the bone of a Mushkanum, the penalty was a fine of 1 mina of silver. If he broke the bone of a slave, the penalty was merely half a mina. This stark disparity underscores that the value of an individual, and thus the severity of their injury, was directly tied to their social standing. The code delved into an extensive range of legal areas, from intricate family matters to complex commercial transactions. Marriage, divorce, inheritance, and adoption were meticulously regulated, reflecting the centrality of the family unit to Babylonian social order. A woman's rights, though constrained by patriarchal norms, were nevertheless codified, offering her some protections regarding property and divorce settlements. Property law was equally detailed, addressing issues of theft, damage to crops, and the proper use of irrigation canals. The code imposed severe penalties for theft, often involving death, demonstrating the critical importance of private property and economic stability in an agrarian society. Even harboring a runaway slave could lead to execution, underscoring the state's role in maintaining the established social hierarchy. Professional responsibility was also a significant concern. Physicians, for instance, were held accountable for their surgical outcomes. A successful operation on a free man brought a fee, but a botched one could result in the loss of the surgeon's hand. This stringent accountability aimed to ensure competence and deter negligence across various trades and professions, from boatmen to veterinarians. In certain instances, when direct evidence was lacking, the code prescribed a legal ordeal, most famously the river ordeal. If a man accused another of sorcery, or if a woman was accused of adultery without concrete proof, the accused would be thrown into the Euphrates River. If they sank, they were deemed guilty; if they floated, they were innocent, saved by the divine judgment of the river god. This practice highlights a reliance on supernatural intervention in the absence of forensic methods. Considering these provisions, the question inevitably arises: was Hammurabi's code primarily an instrument of justice or an embodiment of cruelty? From a modern perspective, many of its tenets appear undeniably harsh. The widespread application of the death penalty for offenses like robbery, kidnapping, or even selling beer at too high a price seems disproportionately severe. The class-based application of law also strikes contemporary observers as fundamentally unjust. The idea that a life or an injury held different values depending on one's social status contradicts modern principles of equality before the law. The lack of what we would consider due process, with trials often swift and appeals limited, further suggests a system prioritizing order over individual rights. Moreover, the collective punishment, where a builder's son might die for his father's error, reflects a different understanding of guilt and responsibility. It suggests that the family unit, rather than just the individual, bore the consequences of transgressions, a concept largely abandoned by modern legal systems that focus on individual culpability. Yet, to dismiss the code as merely cruel would be to misinterpret its historical context and overlook its profound contributions. For its time, it was a remarkable achievement, providing a degree of legal certainty previously unknown. It replaced arbitrary rule and private vengeance with a written, publicly displayed set of laws, allowing individuals to know what was expected of them and what consequences awaited their actions. The principle of lex talionis, despite its severity, served as a powerful deterrent and a means of social control. By establishing fixed penalties, it actually limited the scope of retribution, preventing personal feuds from escalating into wider societal chaos. It was a step towards state-controlled justice, moving away from a system where individuals or families exacted their own often disproportionate revenge. Furthermore, the code did offer protections, even for the vulnerable. Women, though subordinate, had rights regarding property and divorce. Slaves, while property, were not entirely without recourse. The code regulated their treatment and even allowed them to purchase their freedom. It was an attempt, however imperfect, to regulate the abuses of power and provide a baseline of order. The detailed economic regulations, covering everything from agricultural practices to commercial transactions, fostered a stable environment for trade and commerce. By defining fair wages, setting prices, and regulating debt, the code aimed to prevent exploitation and ensure economic fairness, crucial elements for a thriving civilization. It sought to prevent the strong from entirely overwhelming the weak. Hammurabi's code, therefore, represents a pivotal moment in the human journey towards codified law. It was not a perfect system, nor was it meant to be. It was a product of its time, reflecting the societal structures, religious beliefs, and practical necessities of ancient Mesopotamia. It aimed for justice as understood by its creators, a justice inextricably linked with order, hierarchy, and divine will. Its influence rippled through subsequent legal traditions, from the Mosaic Law of the Hebrews to the Roman 12 Tables, shaping the very foundations of Western jurisprudence. It stands as a monumental early attempt to articulate the rule of law, a concept that continues to evolve and challenge societies across millennia. The enduring quest for a just and equitable society, where laws protect the vulnerable and hold the powerful accountable, began in earnest with such groundbreaking efforts. Ultimately, Hammurabi's code serves as a profound historical artifact, a tangible link to humanity's early struggles with governance and morality. It invites reflection on our own definitions of justice, mercy, and human rights, reminding us that the pursuit of a fair society is an ongoing endeavor, constantly refined by evolving values and a deeper understanding of human dignity. It stands as a testament to the enduring human need for order and the complex, often challenging path societies take to achieve it.